Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about the Anaddi capsules and which ones you should be going for if you decide to use them. But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing I want to talk about is, of course, where do we get the new Anaddi capsules, and that is, of course, through the AC support item select May 2024. Now, you still have plenty of time as this doesn't go away until early of next month, so you got like a week or two. But nevertheless, the big question a lot of people have been asking me is, Kara, which Anaddi capsule should I be going for? So as we can see over here, all of the featured ones are, of course, the Parfait capsules, which is the all potency. So you can see over here, the Anaddi Deft Parfait gives 5% all potency, as well as 4% potency floor. However, keep in mind that the Deft Parfait does not give anything else. It only gives 1% extra potency floor versus the other Parfait capsules. As you can see from all of the other Parfait capsules, they also give you 5% all potency. However, they give you an additional stat. So for example, the Stamina Parfait gives you 20 HP. The Spirit Parfait gives you 6 PP. And then of course, the Stamina and Spirit version gives you 10 HP and 3 PP. However, all of these additional stats come at the cost of 1% potency floor. So as you can see here, the Deft Parfait gives you 4% potency floor, versus all of the other Parfaits only give you 3% potency floor. So that is the main question a lot of people have been asking is, Caro, is this 1% potency floor worth giving up all of these extra stats? And on top of that, we can also look at the price difference. If we look at the Deft Parfait, it's going for 14 million. Versus if we look at the other Parfaits, they are down to 8 million over here. If we go to the cheaper ones like the Ward one, this one's like 7.2, 7.3 million. If we look at the Guard Parfait, 8.5 million. So the price difference between some of these Parfaits are kind of ridiculous. So again, the Anaddi Deft Parfait, 14 million versus the Stamina Parfait, 5.3 million. This is a very, very big price difference. It's like double, almost triple the price. So it's like, okay, is it really worth paying that much more for 1% potency floor increase? Because remember, the potency floor increase just increases the range of your damage adjustment. As you can see, mine is 74.4% to 100%. It only changes the minimum number over here, which just makes less variance when you're hitting an enemy. However, if you have very high crit rate, every time you crit, it's always going to be the maximum amount of damage plus 20%. So if you're critting a lot, do you really need potency floor increase? Probably not. However, if you don't crit a lot, then this is where potency floor comes into play. However, is potency floor worth paying triple the amount for that extra 1%? I would say for the majority of the player base, probably not. And that is why I would recommend people to avoid buying the Anaddi Deft Parfait, simply because it is way too expensive for that extra 1% and you do not get any additional stats. Personally, I would just give up the extra 1% potency floor increase for maybe some extra photon points or some HP or maybe some damage resistance or even just the all down resistance, which is just all resistance. There are many good stats that you can pick with the Parfaits. And let's say that, 5 million is still too expensive for your blood, and totally understandable. You don't have to go for the Parfait. The Parfaits just mean that it is for all potency. So if you are planning to play multiple classes, then I do recommend using the Parfaits on your armors, simply because that lets you use the same armor for all of your different classes and all of your different builds, and all you need to do is change your weapon. However, if you're like me and you only specialize in a very specific class, in my case I specialize in the Braver, then you might not need to spend so much money on the Parfaits. You can go for something cheaper. For example, the Stamina Mel Ra over here, so this is melee and range, but since I only play Katana, I really only care about the melee potency, and you can see that it goes down in price significantly. It's 2.2 million instead of what we were paying up here, which was 5.3 million, so you're saving a significant amount of money. So that is definitely something that you need to consider is, okay, what classes do I play and what potencies do I actually need? It's very easy to just say that, oh, I need all potency just in case I play all different classes. But even for myself, you can see that my melee potency is much higher than all of my other potencies because I specialize with the Katana Braver. And even if I do decide to use the bow as a Braver, we do have the special ability optimization Braver as one of our skill points. We can take this as a Braver or as a bouncer, and this literally converts your melee potency into range range potency or range potency into melee potency, depending on which one is the highest. And because of that, I can save myself a lot of money and just hyper invest into one specific potency and still be able to play both weapons on whatever class I play on. So that is really, really nice. But at the end of the day, these Anaddi capsules are a luxury item. All of these items over here are all luxury items. You do not need them unless you are min-maxing, all right? So if you're just the average player with less than 10 million Meseta to your name, personally, I would just skip the Anaddi capsules. It's not worth spending that much money for that extra 1% potency, all right? You can just stick with your LC capsules or stick with whatever endgame capsules that you currently have, and that is good enough. You don't have to build the Anaddi capsules unless you are planning to min-max, unless you are chasing after the next hardest content. And especially now, since we have the Darkfall's Dalian urgent quest, there's even less reason to hyper invest into any of your gear right now, simply because if you want to run Darkfall's Dalian, it simply comes out as an urgent quest and you can run it there. You don't have to run the 4-man version. And so because of that, you know, the gear requirements have gone down significantly, so there is less incentive for you to min-max everything right now. However, if you're like me and that is how you have fun, you like to see big number get bigger, then of course getting the Anaddi capsules is always a good choice. It's just a big question of, is it really worth spending that much more money for a Deft Parfait, or should you just settle with a normal Parfait? Let's say that you really want that 1% floor potency and you're in the same boat as me, where you really only use a katana for the majority of the time. You can consider the Anaddi Deft Mel Ra or the Mel Tech over here, which is significantly cheaper. You're paying 8 million over here and you're paying 8.8 million over here instead of the whopping 14 million. So that is another option that you could also look into if you really care about that 1% extra floor potency. However, again, I want to emphasize, if you have very high crit rate, let's say that you already have a Fixa Fatale level 5, you don't really need that much floor potency since you're going to be critting pretty often. And so that is the main thing that you guys need to decide for yourselves. I can't really decide that for you. Is it worth the money for that extra 1%? Or would you rather have some extra HP or some extra PP or maybe some all resistance or some damage resistance? It's really up to you, as all of these augments are supposed to enhance your playstyle. So if you never get hit, then sure, you don't need damage reduction. Maybe you want more PP instead so that you can spam more photon arts. If you always get hit all the time, maybe you should prioritize some HP as well as some damage reduction. If you're using a lot of those Trial capsules and you have like negative 300% all resistance, then maybe the resistance capsules is something that you can consider. A lot of the choices from the Anaddi capsules are there to enhance your playstyle and cater to your build. So you really need to pick and choose and see what you need in order to fit your playstyle better, okay?
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.